obviously, disappointing game Saturday night down there on the road. Nice hostile environment. Our guys didn't play like we needed to. We didn't coach like we needed to. Just something off. If I could put my finger on exactly what it was, I'd have it corrected immediately. But it just wasn't us. And again, I'll go back. That's a good football team. I won't be surprised if they're in a championship game this year. I think they're really good. I think they got talent all over the place. But that was not the reason, because we got talent too, so that wasn't the reason. We just didn't execute. We didn't tackle well on defense. We didn't make plays on offense. We didn't protect the quarterback. We didn't run the ball good enough. But again, when you play a really good, talented football team, you better match up. And I think, I look at it like, there's been games where our offense has been on and our defense has been okay, and our offense wins the game. And there's been games where our defense is play lights out, like Syracuse, and then the offense is maybe not so good. So you carry each other and you feed off each other. There wasn't really one phase that you go, okay, we won that. Even special teams. I mean, we got a chance to, punt game wasn't very good. We missed a field goal. We got a chance to maybe pop a couple kickoff returns or a punt return. Des was pretty good on punt returns. There was some, and again, there was bright spots everywhere. But for the most part, the majority of it, we didn't dominate on offense or defense, and take a punt to the house if we get a couple more blocks. That things that we learned last night. Maybe we spark off of that, but just didn't happen. We started off with missing tackles on defense first, and we never gained control of the game after that. Second quarter was not very good. Bad quarter of football for the Pitt Panthers. So we got a great Virginia team coming in here, Parents Weekend here in Pittsburgh. Another night game, I think ACC Network coming into town. So we have a chance to go back on that network and show who Pitt really is this weekend. I think our kids are anxious. I think sometimes you get punched in the mouth like we did last season, and how we responded this season. You guys have heard me talk about how handling adversity and handling success, and handling success is hard. I think I told our guys last night we handled it for 7 weeks pretty darn good. Is that part of the reason? Did we think we were good? We had shark attacks and all this stuff, and did it go to our head? Because we didn't there was wasn't much out there. So, but we'll rally the troops and get a good practice in today, game prep today. But Tony Elliott's a great football coach. Obviously won a ton of games as the offensive coordinator at Clemson. They're having a pretty solid year down there. He's building that thing from the ground up. And we got another good football team in here that has had three tough outings the last three, but they played three pretty good football teams the last 3 weeks. So it's a very talented, capable, rested team coming in here because they got a week off and 2 weeks to prepare for us.
Pat, resilience is defined you guys, some of you guys' best wins, Cincinnati, West Virginia, your ability to come back in games. But for guys like Eli, guys like that, this is their first loss with the team, how have you seen them approach that in just the day after, how they've taken coaching and what you guys have looked at?
They were good. I always look when I come in to walk into a 7-10 team meeting last night. It's always like every team's a little bit different after 10 years. This is a quieter team, which means it hurt a little bit, which is good. You always gauge if they come in here and they're all having fun and looking at videos on their phone and stuff like that. It's like really so to me you can tell a lot by what your team does coming in after a loss. But I think it hurt them. I don't think they were happy. They were quiet on the plane, quiet on the bus on the way back, which is a good thing. I mean, I want them to be hurt. You better be hurt. We all work too hard to have a negative outcome. So I think there better be some pain involved, and I think when it hurts a little bit, it means something to you, and we'll bounce back this week, I'm sure.
Of course, you said just something was off about that game on Saturday.
We didn't play good. We didn't play good football.
Yeah.
And again, offensively, whatever. Like I look at our defense, and we choose to go out there and play defense first and get that performance. Like it was not good. And again, and they're fast. Like number 1, number 13 are fast, but like we just. And again, they showed us some different stuff. It's not I won't forget that. Like there's different stuff they ran. Okay, there's stuff in the run game that we did not prepare for. That I thought we adjusted well to it as the game went on, but we didn't fit it good. We didn't. There's some, when we got enough movement going on in our front to take care of some of that stuff, and we didn't get it done.
So how much do you maybe want them to flush a loss like that versus kind of go on and remember that pain?
It's flush. Last night I brought a toilet in here. No, I didn't. It's flushed though. Steven, it's flushed. We always, that game's done. I said, when we walk out of here, it's done. We went right into, meetings on Virginia right as the team meeting ended, like we normally do. It's done. Like we're done talking about it, there was even thoughts of not even looking at it, but we had to make corrections. I mean, there's thoughts sometimes people are just like, we ain't watching that game. I don't want them to look at it. But to me, that's what coaching is, that's what teaching is. They need to learn from their mistakes in all three phases. If you don't, you've lost an opportunity to teach.
Pat, you mentioned the lack of execution. What can you do during this practice week, especially offensively, to improve that execution?
You know what, it's practicing hard every day, which I think we do. And it's hard, you see it versus the scout team. We make plays in practice, so, we just got into the mode yesterday. I mean, if you put the tape on and you watch it, like, oh, he's going to make that play. There's, Rashad's out there, he's going to make the play. Everybody kind of slows down a little bit, like Rashad's got that. Oh, and then there's a change of speeds. Like, that can't happen. And you always see it when we don't make a play. But usually when you're busting there, the tackle's done, good. But then when you got to change speeds, then you got problems. So, again, that's a sign of a loaf. And, just don't assume. We assumed that, this guy's going to make the tackle, Jerry's going to make the tackle, but like it didn't happen. And then we weren't there to help out. And that's not Pitt. That's not Pitt defense. And that's got to get corrected.
I'm sorry, Pat. One of their players said after the game that they played their normal speed and you guys couldn't keep up. I mean, when you watching the tape, was that?
Yeah, that's player talk. Their normal speed, their tempo was not a problem. We see tempo. Getting lined up, we had no issues with getting lined up. We had troubles at times because of maybe some of the runs and the fits that were gone, and a guy popped out, on two explosive runs. And we couldn't catch the tight end on a shoot that we practiced all week. Did execute that, didn't do it till the fourth quarter, and we run right past it. But it had nothing to do with their tempo at all, because they were actually slower than I thought they were going to be. Wasn't fast at all, so we had no problems, with the tempo. But like I said, they got fast guys, and we didn't adjust well, and there was times where they outran us, and we didn't make a play.
Quick two-parter, but I'll be brief. If I were to assume that you're not changing quarterbacks this week, would I be right, number one? And number two?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay,
I'll
thank
answer
you.
that one first, so I don't have to forget that you asked that question.
And the second part is, when you made Eli the starter back in August, what were the kind of things you thought you needed to do to maybe mitigate his inexperience?
Again, he's a redshirt freshman. I think everybody forgets, and I can't believe you asked the first question. To be honest with you, I'm disappointed in you a little bit, but again, when you win, Eli's gonna be, rookie of the week, and when you lose, and he's not, which obviously is our first, it's not on old Eli. We did not protect him well enough. We didn't run the ball well enough, and we played a really good defense. And I'll say this: the last 3 weeks, what we practice, we don't see on game day. So I'll go right into this week and assume that we're not going to see what we see on tape. We aren't seeing the same thing, guys. It's totally different. So we are just going to have to prepare, 2 game plans, and probably more of the emphasis. We're going to figure, we're going to get drop 8. They got a new linebacker coach, dropped 8 and played 3 down. Like, we're just assuming we're going out practicing this week. Like that'll help Eli. That's half coaching. That's coaching. That you're practicing stuff all week. Hey, have a great Tuesday, have a great Wednesday, have a great Thursday, and then Saturday you see something totally different. Like the last 3 weeks we have not seen. Even, SMU, the team that's got the 24th ranked defense in the country, came out and did something totally different than they do. They didn't play they're a man-free team. They didn't play any man-free. They didn't like the matchups. They played cover 3 all day. 3 week, and they played cover 2. That's what we saw. So we just got to plan on seeing cover 3, okay, and seeing 3 deep safeties and cover 1. That's what I told the offense yesterday. And we'll, that's how we're game planning. And then we'll adjust to, whatever they do. I mean, Virginia's a 4 down. I'll tell you right now, they're 4 down quarters team. Okay, we'll find out if they do that. But I would say we're going to see a lot of cover 3 with the boundary safety coming down, and they're going to make Eli go make those shots, and we got to be able to run the ball when they do that too.
Pat, when you have a young quarterback, though, coaching to specific keys of an opponent can be very key to help them lock in. How do you coach Eli? Be like, hey, we know that we're saying that they normally run these keys, but you're going to have to prepare for these others as well.
You got to do it. I mean, he's bright enough and smart enough to get that. We just got to get him practice reps at it, not just say, hey, if they do this coverage, go do this. Like that's hard to do for a young quarterback. A lot easier. I mean, you go back to Kenny Pickett in his freshman year. We didn't start until the last game of the season. Okay, because I was afraid to throw him into the early. I remember the end of the Virginia Tech game, playing the whole second half of that game. It's been years ago, but like you know, you gradually get to that, but to see, you know, people just come out and not run their defense, it's shocking, especially as good as SMU was. So to me, it's respect for who we are and what we do. Now, we gotta respond on offense and kind of go, okay, that's the way it's gonna be, then let's go.
But early on, it seemed like he was able to connect with his receivers, at least get the ball down the field, move things, and things seemed to, you know, I guess, kind of die out as the game got out of hand. What did you see that kind of went wrong in the offense and the passing game specifically, and how do you guys think get better at third down?
Starts with the protection. I mean, it starts with, you know, the trust up front, and when you're feeling a little, you know, guys can heat you up, then, you know, we're missing blocks inside as well, not just at left tackle or left guard. So we just gotta be better up front. We gotta, you know, again, they're talented now. Let me tell you, they're talented up front. They had some dudes up there that could rush the quarterback. So again, it's a, you know, again, we sit here, we can move on to Virginia, because I don't wanna make more excuses, because all they are excuses. We gotta get it done as coaches, we gotta get it done as players. That's the expectation, and they got a good football team, and we didn't play as good. So.
You briefly mentioned Saturday night that we're going to 6 guys, 6-man protection might be a way to go. If you do that, and I'm not saying you're going to do that, or you're not mentioning, but you know.
I know you're going to see Kate after this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll see Tony Elliott too. But if you do that, what does it do to your passing game?
You know, we do some of that. I mean, we do some chip protections and all that, and keep an extra guy in there, but it doesn't do anything. You have a passing game, whether you're sending out 3 or you're sending out the tight end late or a back out late. I mean, it's, you know, it's okay.
After the game, right?
They just got more guys back there. If they're dropping, you know, if you're max protecting, then they're dropping 8.
Right.
You're protecting, like, you know, 6 guys on 3. So you know, it's like guess right. You only want to protect when you need to protect. You got to guess.
Brady mentioned after the game, maybe practice habits have to be better than they were the week before. Did you notice anything last week over the weekend?
Not really. I mean, you know, it was probably status quo, but like, you know, I think, you know, it's like I told each guy last night, you gotta look in the mirror. Like, you know, I wasn't particularly happy with Brandon in the first half, you know, with what he was doing in there. You know, like if this was an offensive lineman, he ran right down the middle. Well, there's a gap there and a gap there, don't run down the middle. So, you know, if you constantly do that, and, you know, we always harp on it with Mike and Brandon, especially of being physical. You're a big Mike linebacker, you're not this finesse guy that, you know, you try to jam a guy, you know, 315-pound, you know, center or guard, you know, you're gonna lose those battles. So, you know, you're not an offensive lineman. You're not a 300-pound middle linebacker. Like, he's got to get in the gap so everybody knows where to fit. So we just, you know, it's, you know, trying to make too many plays and thinking I got to go be the hero this week and catch my ball and do all those things. But so, you know, he probably looking at, you know, maybe in the mirror probably a little bit and saying I didn't play good enough.
Pat,
Is that kind of what led to Keith Thompson getting more snaps this week and everything like that?
Yeah, I mean, we expected, you know, Keith getting back healthier. That was one of the reasons, yeah. But you know, yeah.
Pat, you know, in the division format, you lose a game to somebody, especially in your division, that might really hinder your chances to get where you want to go. Now that it's just one big pile of teams, right? There are more avenues, maybe, if you lose a game. Is that something that you bring up with the team at all after something like that?
Not really. I'm just worried about going 1-0. We can't worry about where we're going to be in 4 weeks and, you know, the first week of December. We just got to take care of our business. I mean, we got games in front of us. You know, we don't control our own destiny. You know, I think they know that. I told them that to the locker room after the game. It's okay. It don't matter. We're going one at a time, and that's as much as I'm, you know, really talking about, because it doesn't matter. Like, we got to win. That's all that matters. And then, you know. But, you know, the sad part about the one division, and I love the 2 division format, as you guys probably know from the past conversations, is, you know, I don't want tiebreakers to be involved. You know, and again, I learned from Roddy Jones on the radio the other day. I didn't realize that if we just went out, that, you know, there's no tiebreaker for us. Everybody else needs something else to happen. We didn't need it. Now we do probably need some help. I don't even care to look, but that was interesting because, you know, when you're, you know, got these big long divisions and all these darn teams, you know, people aren't playing people. You know, and if you don't get to play the best, like, you know, you're going to get there because of a tie breaking. You know, like, it's just like those are things you don't want to happen, and that's what we've, you know, I think we'll see that across the country, regardless of the conference, the Big Ten, the SEC. You're going to see that same thing where it's going to be tie breaking system coming into phase. Who wants that? Who wants to sit in front of the team and talk about a tiebreaker? Well, guys, back here, you know, E3, this is what it says. It's like we're going off some FBI ratings or whatever it is.
keeping note that, you know, teams are switching things up a lot when they play you. What are the things that you guys have to focus on to get your offense back on track against Virginia specifically?
We got to execute, you know, and again, we just got to give them more looks. I think that's the main thing, is practicing what you think you're going to get. We just got to guess. We got to guess on offense, and you know, it's like that opener you're playing. It's like that, you know, and again, we'll know after the first year of a new offense, this is how we're going to play, and then in the offseason you practice all these different things to get ready for what you're going to see during the season. You know, we don't drop a lot of 8. Matter of fact, I think we've dropped 8 maybe twice this entire season, so they didn't see it in camp. We don't play a ton of cover 3, you know. You could say we play more man than anything, so that's what they get used to seeing as a football team. So we haven't helped them defensively with what we're seeing. You know, you're looking at, but we just got to give them more looks of it in practice, and you're double time like that season opener where you know, the guy just took the job and you don't know where is it this offense or that defense, like you have no idea what you're going to see, and those are the, you know, that's when it's hard. You're trying to play, you know, play chess, and it's hard because you don't know what you're going to get. That's coaching.
What do you see from Virginia? Have you done any scouting on them yet?
Say it again?
What have you seen from Virginia? What they have posted?
Good question. Yeah, we've done plenty of scouting. You know, yes, you know, got about 2 hours of sleep, went to mass yesterday, and got onto Virginia. But no, good football team. I mean, the Clandra kid at quarterback is, I think that dude's tough as can be. I mean, he runs. I mean, they run a lot of quarterback runs for a guy that's not gigantic. You know, 6 foot, 184, 85 pound quarterback that is tough as nails. I mean, as tough as any quarterback. The guy's taking some hits and he just pops back up like crazy. But they got a great run game. You know, Malachi, number 8, the wideout, is a good football player. Defensively, they got the Cam brothers. They're actually not brothers. Number 92, defensive end, is active. He's got a great motor. He never comes off the field. Their Mike linebacker, I believe, number 5, Cam as well. You know, with a K, is a special linebacker, and then number 20, their safety, is a really good player. So they got guys at all 3 levels that are special, and we'll just find out where they're lined up. But they got a good football team.
What do you
Anything else
see?
about Virginia before we close out? One, Jared, please.
He interrupted you.
That's okay. He's okay. This isn't about Virginia. I'm sorry. You can get mad at me if you want. You know.
Can't get mad at you, Jerry.
What
You're a good guy.
What did you see from the demeanor of your team yesterday when you brought them in here?
You know, I think I mentioned it already, but they were great. Like I said, they were quiet. You know, willing to learn and figure it out. But no, I mean, hurt. And that's what you're supposed to be after a loss, right? You know, they're back today, eating brunch and ready to roll. You know, I think you know, young players are resilient nowadays. They're more resilient than coaches are. I think. So you got to make sure your staff's as good as your players are, as far as, you know, wiping off and moving on. But they were good. They're like normal kids. But the good thing is they came in here with a serious attitude and don't want it to happen again.
What was your demeanor like?
My kids said I was miserable in the morning before I left, you know, after church. But then when I get back into work and you get into work mode, you're ready to go. So I'm usually miserable, you know. Maybe win or loss, I'm miserable.
Pat, when you look at the offensive production in conference play, the numbers are a little more modest than they were in non-conference, and a lot of it is teams get tape on you, and maybe, you know, you just talked about the way that you were attacked differently by SMU than what you had seen on film. You know, when you look at when you watch you guys play, is the same stuff that was available in September available now, and is it more of an execution problem, or is it, man, teams are attacking us differently than they were because they kind of know what to expect, and we've got to adjust?
Yeah, well, you know, I think, you know, obviously you're talking about non-conference games and you're talking about Big 12. Okay, let's just look at it that way and say, okay, the ACC is a lot better than those conferences, right? Okay, so we'll cut that aside. The 2-0 against Big 12, throw it out there. So that's number one. Plus, I think people have learned from what they've seen, right? I mean, to your point, Will, I mean, like they've learned and said, okay, let's not do this. And then, you know, it's how you respond to it. If people want to drop 8, you got to be able to run the football. Have we run it good enough? I don't know. You know, not like I do. I think we talked about that last week. I think we talked about it's not where we want it to be. So, but it comes down to execution. Comes down to staying healthy and making plays.
Those offensive line struggles, do you think that's what's contributing to the lack of running game too?
Let me ask you, if you wanted to run the ball, you need the hawks up front. So, I mean, it's not just the passing game, it affects it. You know, the O-line, it starts up front.
Yeah.
Okay, D-line, it starts up front. If we don't make plays up there, we don't spill stuff like on Saturday like we did. Like when, you know, a guard pulls and you're getting trapped, you gotta spill it. We moved you this way. Here comes the guard. You ran up the field. You didn't spill it after we moved you into it. We moved you into it. You didn't get it. So it starts up front, makes everybody else's job easier. So in the run game, yeah, we need those 5 guys up there to be beasts up front. They got to get run game going, 2-dimensional. One of our goals going in that game was to be 2-dimensional. We knew against a good defense, you can't be just throwing it back. We end up having to throw it more than you want to, but because you got behind, then you're not doing what you really need to do to win a football game. We had to be 2-dimensional when we weren't like we want to. I think 103 yards, whatever it was, wasn't enough. We want 150. Any other questions? Don't let EJ speed you out of here. You get one time. Anything else? You guys are listening to EJ. You scared of EJ?
He's
We good?
intimidating.
You ever
Look at
seen
him.
his